everybody. Welcome to an all-new episode of BYLATINMEN with your host, Anthony and Kevin.
Me. I'm back. I'm nervous.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like it's been a while. It's been a year. It's been over a year.
A whole year?
It's been over a year.
Really?
Yeah, my last episode was December 2024.
Wow.
So it's been a while.
Wow.
Hi,
Kevin.
friend.
Hi.
I missed you.
Tell the people what you've done in this last year. Did you accomplish the goals you set when you took a break?
Yeah. Anthony knows how sort of tunnel vision I can be, especially with my ADHD. Like, I can't do too many things at once. Something has to take precedent, and BYLATINMEN for so many years was like really
The
important
main
to me.
focus. Yeah.
And so when I started doing my own stuff, and it's like there were things that I wanted to accomplish that I knew couldn't be accomplished if I had other things distracting me. So like I had quit my job, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm done working, like having like a proper job. I'm just freelancing, and I think the podcast also has to go because I was trying to do my own independent work and like write this book. What's crazy is I wrote a book that got tossed by my literary agent. Like we wrote a book, and then we were like, okay, well, that's not the book. We're working on another book.
Oh my God.
But I did get a book deal.
But I mean, at least you have the experience of writing a book.
But I have a book deal, so I am working on a book that will be coming out. And I, grew this huge platform and got all these big opportunities. And so I don't think that it would have been possible if I had done BYLATINMEN. Either my career wouldn't have taken off the way that it has.
Yeah.
For which I'm really grateful, really, really grateful, or BYLATINMEN would have suffered. Do you know what I mean? Like I would have shown up less of a host. Do you know what I mean? But the truth, I did miss it. It's hard to try and fit in, and it's also like I don't want to be a personality.
Yeah.
That's always been weird. Like I don't want to be someone.
We're not.
But you are especially. But
we have personalities.
But when you do this, that's what you are to a certain sector of people.
Well, to people that listen regularly.
Because the truth is, there are people who watch BYLATINMEN, who have watched BYLATINMEN for years, who are not my audience.
Yes.
Because that's not what Kevin is supposed to be.
But they can be.
They can be. There are people who do cross over. But
Because,
I'm saying,
but what you're doing. What you went to do full time, you were already doing on a podcast as far as educating, and we talked about politics in the news.
What I'm saying is, my audience didn't necessarily transition from the podcast. Like, I developed a whole other audience, and so there are people on the podcast who just view me as like a person. Like when people come up to us, they're like, you and Anthony are funny. It's just different, and they couldn't happen at the same time. In the beginning, I had to formulate one in order to be like, okay, now these two things can exist. But anyway,
Trump winning make
am I
you
happy
take
Trump
that
won?
Don't
Am I happy Donald Trump won?
No, we don't have to ask that. I'm saying like since Trump won in November, did his winning push you to like be like, you know what, I gotta do something. Like, you know what, next year we gotta focus on something else. I can't just keep doing the same shit. Or like you saw an open lane for like going political with social media?
Yeah, it was the latter. It wasn't necessarily about social media as much as it was when Donald Trump won and I was still working for GLAAD at the time. I remember we had a call the day after the election. They were like, okay, Kevin, we're not really sure like what sort of reporting to do today. Like we need to tell people something like good or, there was a question mark about how to talk to people. And I realized that we really just needed to cover what was happening, and I made a pledge. So for those who don't know, I made a pledge to myself to grow my platform and to cover Donald Trump's administration. So for the first 100 days, I covered Donald Trump's administration very, very closely, and the goal was to hit 100,000 followers in 100 days, and I ended up hitting about 110,000 followers in 100 days, and then I grew well past 400,000 followers last year, and now across platforms I have like 700,000 followers. So it's just been a big push, but I missed BYLATINMEN, so.
Kevin posts all fucking day. I mean, he's what I was on Twitter in 2017, tweeting every fucking thing Trump did and fucking talking shit. But Kevin came a long way, guys.
We do want to let people know we're doing a short abbreviated season. I don't have the bandwidth to do a full season like we usually do. Anthony, I don't know how he does it, has like
a lot of people don't do it like us.
Anthony has a very big, like, and I feel like people forget this, Anthony has a very big, important, like, big boy job, and somehow he still is able to, like, show up to the studio and do all of the, and I can't. Me and Anthony aren't the same person. We're not built the same. So we're doing a couple of episodes. We are pre-recording.
Not a couple. We're going to do a full short season. Listen, most podcasts, when we spoke about this, most podcasts don't do a full year. Like, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
We've been calling it a season. Other people, like I can say, like Amanda Sills, she doesn't have seasons. She just does episodes whenever she wants to, and is nonstop. But for us, we decided to just do it as much as we could in a year. Like, our first year, we did over 52, so it was more than one a week.
Crazy.
But it worked. Like, we had a lot of downloads that year.
Well,
but yeah.
So we are going to do some episodes for a while, and they're going to be more thematic and topical. We're going to keep the format of the show, but focus on specific themes. And I'm really excited to have conversations in that way. I'm still trying to figure out sort of how to exist in this space and the other space.
There is no need to figure it out.
There is, and we'll get to it in another episode.
You're not going to say anything crazy here to get canceled.
We used to say some crazy things on this show.
Well, not I. Except for putting the card to my face.
Which was crazy. But anyway, all right, we have to actually start this episode.
Yes, can we start?
So before we start, I want to say we're not going to necessarily talk. We're going to provide some levity. Like, this is, we're going to talk about things like we always do that are important, but we're going to try to have lighthearted conversation. So I want to make sure that people know that, like, we know that there's a lot going on in the world, and it's a very important year. It's an election year. So even though we're not going to necessarily talk about politics every episode, we will remind you every episode that this is a big year. It's an election year. It's the midterms. And we want to make sure that everyone goes out and votes. So if you haven't already, primaries are already starting. There was already a primary in New Jersey last week. So make sure to go to vote.gov, check your voter registration status so that we can all vote and take back Congress. Okay.
Yes.
Let's start the episode. This week,
Let's go.
We're going to talk about immigration. It's a big topic. All right, so we're going to start with hot topics. So, under President Trump, I hate saying that, ICE activity has...
You don't have to say it. You can just say Trump. Under Trump.
ICE activity has escalated dramatically, driven by a $170 billion funding surge in the so-called Big Beautiful Bill that was passed last year. DHS aims to deport 1 million people in 2026. And in order to do that, they've increased their workforce by adding more than 12,000 new agents, resulting in an 84% increase in the amount of people that are detained in ICE custody at the same time, which is currently nearly 75,000 people. So we talked about Trump's plans for immigration and mass deportations and all of that when he was campaigning back in 2024. Right. So looking at it now, we were also making the podcast when he was in office the first time. So looking at all of this, I can't believe we're back to this. Looking at all of this,
I'm gonna blame you.
Does any of this surprise you? The way that immigration is going, like how violent it is, none of it.
He said he was gonna do this. He said he was. First of all, we already saw the plan unfolding when they started busing and flying people to blue cities. And we already predicted this from our last season. We predicted, and I can't believe a whole year passed. That's crazy. On the last season when we were covering the election and, obviously supporting Kamala, we were predicting that this time Donald Trump don't have guardrails. We already said that. We said the first time he tried to do it the right way. Like, he still was a terrible president, but there were people in his administration that was holding him like with a leash and trying to clean up his mess all the time. But then after January 6th, we saw that he didn't give a fuck no more. The point was to stay in power. And the fact that he won, we already predicted all the cases were going to go away, and now he was going to do whatever he wanted, get as rich as he could. And we didn't know if we would have another election. And people thought we were fear-mongering.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at anything that's happening right now because he literally said, we're going to go in the streets and we're going to send in the National Guard or use the military to get all the illegal immigrants out. So I'm not surprised at what's going on. What I am surprised at is the inaction from certain governors. Especially, I was very disappointed in Governor Gavin Newsom last June or July when he sent in the National Guard and the ICE over there to California. Minneapolis, I'm very proud of how it's going in Minneapolis. I'm glad that the people came out and like they protested and they haven't stopped. And today they actually announced that they're leaving because they said that the mission is done. This is a time where unfortunately people are going to have to fight. Like people are going to die, as we've seen. This is what happened in the civil rights movement. Like, this is what always happens when people in power try to take away people's rights or, like, target certain groups. That has happened every time in history. It was blacks, then women, then is gays during the AIDS pandemic. Like, there's always a group of people that's being targeted, and right now is illegal immigrants. And I think the reason he's getting so far with it is because a lot of people feel like it's not affecting them.
While I'm not surprised, there have been images, there have been stories that have been shocking. And I am someone who has been calling for ICE to be abolished since 2016.
Yes.
And so I would say that I am shocked at how violent it's been. And by violent, I mean how openly violent it's been. Obviously, everyone knows about Alex Pretty and Renee Good, but like Keith Porter and the amount of people that are dying in ICE custody. As the day that we were recording this, 7 people have already died in ICE custody this year alone, and 37 died in ICE custody last year. That was the deadliest year on record for detainees in ICE custody, and this year's already on pace to beat that. So it is just, I don't know if it's surprising as much as it is like shocking to the conscience. And like today, for example, I was reading a story. I was talking to a reporter from Telemundo who interviewed families held at a detention facility in South Texas. And the youngest person who is being held in an ICE detention facility right now at a facility in Dilley, Texas, is a 2-month-old baby who's currently malnourished and sick because they are being served spoiled food. The mother is not being properly taken care of. Again, the baby is 2 months old. So his mother is postpartum, not getting proper care, not sleeping properly. She's stressed. And so she has stopped producing milk to breastfeed him. And she can't give him formula because the water that they're being given in the fountains is unclean. And so the mother ended up drinking the water from the water fountains, and she got sick and passed it on to her baby. So now he's malnourished in a place that doesn't want to take care of him. So things like that are like
shocking.
I can't believe,
or like
how
you can't believe that
it's
being allowed to happen.
I can't believe that when I read these stories, it doesn't move me. Like it moves me emotionally
because it's happening all the time.
Yeah, it's just so much.
I think that the reason why I'm not shocked and the way I answered the question originally is because we saw with Black Lives Matter, he was literally shooting protesters that were sitting on grass. So like, why wouldn't they do worse when he has no guardrails, where he has the Congress and the Senate and the Supreme Court? Like, there is nothing that's gonna stop this man. And when it's targeting these people, as we can see, just killing a white person is not gonna be like, oh, we fucked up, now we gotta apologize and set back. They don't care.
Well, we saw that there was some pushback. So let's talk about white people. That's
okay.
It's my favorite subject is white people. What do you think about the way that non-immigrants have been responding to all of this? And like the way that, like you mentioned, like Minneapolis. Does that surprise you? Like, does that give you any sort of
hope?
That's a word.
Okay, so I actually am happy to see how many white liberals are in the streets of Minnesota.
What's with the air
Because
quotes?
that's what the Fox News calls everybody. They look at the white libs because they're protesting ICE, but not everybody is a liberal that's protesting ICE because everybody don't agree with their tactics.
Right.
And also they don't have the data to back up that they are all criminals. Like, oh, we're going after the worst. No, you're just taking people off the streets that don't look like you. I think that like Don Lemon getting locked up, it reinforces the notion where a lot of black people are saying like, do your work on social media. Do your work on a microphone. Don't go to the streets. This is not our fight. Like, let white people get on the front lines for once, because it's always black Latinos, it's always minorities protesting and fighting for change. And clearly that doesn't work. So how about let white people go in the streets and fight for what the fuck is right? And I think that Minnesota is showing that. California did not.
I gotta tell you, I was at the barbershop on Saturday before we went to the HRC dinner together, and
Okay.
I was at the barbershop before that.
Okay.
I didn't. I was gonna text you about this. I'm in the barbershop. I just got out the chair. I'm about to leave, and there is just an army of people walking up the street because there was a protest.
Oh.
Because there's been a bunch of ICE activity
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a protest that was led by like these local leaders. And I'm looking at the crowd, and it's all white people. And like
Oh, see?
the people in the barbershop were all like, I swear, and it's a Dominican barbershop. Así es,
Right.
así no tiene que estar.
Yeah.
Estos gringos que se vaya para allá, que se
Right.
ponga a trabajar para nosotros. And it's true.
Hello.
Like it does feel like, okay, maybe there's some hope, especially in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I've been interviewing candidates who are running for Congress or running for office across the country. And there's a candidate that I was so excited about. Her name is Anelilia Mejia. She's Dominican and Colombian. And I just watched her win, her race. And this is like an underdog in one of the richest congressional districts in the country. This is not an urban area. New Jersey's 11th congressional district. It's not an urban area. It's a very affluent area where like she is like on like the lower end of what
The income
of household incomes in that district. And this like Bernie Sanders, she was Bernie Sanders' national political director back in 2020. She worked with the Biden transition team when Bernie endorsed Biden. And like this grassroots movement, she raised $400,000. Her competition raised $7.5 million. And people showed up because they're pissed. And they're like, no, we want someone who's going to say abolish ICE. Like, people are fed up. And it's white people.
No, but that's why I'm saying, like, when he won, I think we did an episode after he won, and I said, well, like, there's nothing that we could do at this point except I hope that he does what he said he was going to do so that people can stop playing with the vote. Like when we saw the Cubans getting deported that fucking made the song about, I will vote for Donald Trump. Like, I don't feel bad for you. Like, this is what you wanted for other people is happening to you, and I don't feel bad for you. And unfortunately, we have to see all this that's happening for Donald Trump to be stopped. Like, people think it's a game. It's not a joke. Look at the Epstein files. Epstein files is being covered up when there's literally people that are in his administration right now, including him, all over the files. And the Attorney General is like, y'all still talking about this? Let's move on. Let's talk about the Dow.
The Dow is up.
Like, that's insane. And people was like, I can't believe. And I'm like, how y'all keep saying you can't believe? What are you shocked about?
Okay,
I watch it for entertainment at this point.
So to your point, and this is the last question, is according to polls, more than half of Americans, including Donald Trump's own voters who supported him in 2024, believe that ICE has gone too far and they want to see a decrease in these mass raids. So do you think that this will ultimately hurt MAGA in the midterm elections this year?
Oh, yes. MAGA is already hurting. We've seen Democrats or liberals or socialists, actually, people that run on a socialist platform, winning in red states. Even this week, somebody won a special election. This woman in Kentucky, I think. Like, we're seeing the demise of MAGA, and Trump has even been reported to be saying at his dinners, we have to win or they're going to impeach me. There's no way they're going to win in the midterms. But again, do we think that's going to really stop Donald Trump? Like right now, even with the Epstein file law, they didn't obey it. What is Congress doing? Nothing.
Well, the thing is, if it does hurt Trump in the midterms, and if Democrats do take it,
and
if Democrats are able to, and it's like the slimmest, it's the slimmest chance that Democrats it's the slimmest chance.
Okay.
But the thing is, we are 20 years out from 2006. And the only reason that we saw Obama have a strong start to his first administration is because in 2006, there was a massive blue wave and Democrats won more seats than they've won ever in modern history. And I do think that we are on track to repeat that again because of the political climate. At the time, it was post 9/11. It was war.
George Bush was not popular.
It was the financial crisis. But now, it's the financial crisis again. It's war again. And it's immigration. And it is the
Epstein files, too.
It is the Epstein files that is also a big thing for Trump. And
it is.
I do think, because right now, so far, there are 30 Republicans who have announced that they're retiring or not seeking re-election. And right now, there are 3 vacant seats in the House.
Yeah.
And Mike Johnson has apparently convinced a representative from Florida to retire early. And by retire early, I mean like as early as next week. Which means there's going to be a 4th
But what
vacancy.
does that tell you? That they're scared.
That they're scared? Well, we've heard from Republicans who have said, I'm not running for re-election because even if I win and I'm back in the House, I'm going to spend the next 2 years fighting to protect Donald Trump from impeachment because they're going to do it anyway. And Republicans don't want to go down with that.
But also, the fact that you're saying that you're going to have to fight, why wouldn't you vote for impeachment? That means you agree with what the fuck he's doing.
Well, I don't think that anyone would publicly go against Donald Trump.
They have. Some of them have.
Some. We have Thomas Massey and like some of them who like grow
balls
the ones
every now and then. And the ones that announced his resignation.
But they're not really. They're being cowards.
Yeah. They are cowards. But I want to give praise to the dinosaurs in the Democrat side that are retiring and announced that they're not going to run again because it is time for new blood. But also, I think that if we win in November, if we don't have enough seats for a removal in the Senate, it's not happening. It's not. If we don't have 60, it's not happening.
Yeah, but I think it's possible.
It is possible to win the 60.
There are enough states in play.
2/3 of the Senate seats are up for election.
There are enough states in play. Like I do think that we have a shot.
Do you think it's gonna happen though? Like
we have a shot. We have a shot in Minnesota. We have a shot in Maine. We have a shot in Alaska. We actually have a very strong shot in Alaska. Texas is the one that people are like, maybe. But like if
I mean, Ted Cruz is not popular.
If that happens, great. Ted Cruz is not it's Cornyn.
You're right,
John
but he's not for election?
No, he just won re-election in 2024. But anyway, all right. That is enough of that. This was so
much for not getting into politics.
I don't know. We're gonna keep talking about politics. I mean, everything is political. All right.
It is. Our existence is political.
We are gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back with Latin lovers.
All my Latin lovers. Ricky Martin was at the Super Bowl.
I do not miss that song at all.
All right, it's time for Latin lovers. Kevin, take it away.
There are a couple of different ways that immigration intersects with dating and love that I thought were pretty interesting. So a boyfriend sent ICE after his undocumented partner over a dispute having to deal with their Tribeca condo, which I thought was... That was crazy because they were having a dispute about whether or not they should be together. And so when he refused to leave the condo that they shared, again, this is both of their home, knowing that he was undocumented still, the boyfriend called ICE and had them come over and apparently...
In New York City.
And apparently it prompted a team of 8 armed ICE officers to show up and detain his boyfriend for deportation.
Wow.
That is one way to...
end the relationship.
Right. That is a very cruel way to break up with someone. Apparently the man was shuffled around for over a month. He was shuffled around to different
detention centers.
To different detention centers before he was finally deported back to Ireland.
Wow.
So what is your reaction to this? How would you handle something like that?
Not white on white crime.
Anthony.
Listen, I thought they weren't deporting white people. But
if you have a $4.3 million condo and you're the one calling ICE, I mean, that's about class.
He would have better lawyers.
That is really crazy, and I think it does sort of... It makes you think about like the power dynamic that people have in their relationships.
Yes.
Where when someone can hold something like that over you, that does make it hard. That's why people do need to protect themselves.
But you wouldn't expect that. If you're in a relationship, you don't think that.
But you should. I mean, that's the same. That is the same excuse that people use for not getting a prenup.
No, but
because they're like, I don't want to plan for the worst. But people change.
But this is not a poor or a person without resources. I feel like he was blindsided.
He absolutely was blindsided.
Because if he would have been threatened by that, I'm pretty sure he would have lawyered up right away. And he probably would have went to Ireland and handled the house situation from there with lawyers.
Yeah.
But getting deported, throws a wrench in everything. You can't do nothing.
But it definitely just puts into perspective, like, if you're if you're dating, if you're not married, even if you are married to someone, just in general in life, I just think the older I get, I just become more like, I need to be more as independent as possible.
Yeah.
Like you
can't depend on someone, yeah.
and you need to protect yourself from people being able to use things that you're vulnerable to against you. That's why I don't tell even people that I date. Like you're not supposed to tell everyone everything.
But also, I don't think like yes, I think everybody should be self-sufficient and independent and like not rely on someone, especially for their essentials like a roof over their head.
This example does highlight for me something that I've had a really big issue with when it comes to ICE over the last year, because of course everything online becomes memeified and everything becomes like a trending topic or like a punchline, and I don't think it's funny, especially in this climate where ICE is subjecting people to fatal violence and shooting people dead in the street. I don't think that it's funny to like joke about immigration, to like joke about calling ICE on someone, even if it's, and this is the part that's a little like, even if it's someone that you don't like. And I've done this, and you know what, at least I'm intellectually consistent because I've done this before on the podcast. But I hate having to defend people that I don't like. But like Don Lemon arguing with Nicki Minaj and his response being, you know, you're an immigrant. Like, bitch, what is the point of that? You are just exhibiting xenophobia. There's no need for you to bring up someone's immigration status if you're the person who's supposed to be like the bigger person in the argument.
That. I think it's pointing out hypocrisy.
But he wasn't pointing out hypocrisy.
Yes, he was.
I don't think so. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think that it was necessary to his argument to point out the fact, because he was like, you're an undocumented immigrant.
Yes. You're supporting someone.
But he didn't say that.
Yes, he did.
He didn't make a correlation to being like, the policies that you are supporting hurt people like you. He was just calling her an undocumented.
We don't have to say that. We see all the tweets she supports Donald Trump fully.
I just don't enjoy it.
But what I'm saying is, see, we can't have that attitude that you have right now, especially in this year with Donald Trump. We're not going to win the midterms doing that. That's why Hillary lost the first time. When everybody's like, oh, you don't have to get as dirty as him. He's never.
Hillary lost because she was a terrible candidate.
We're not going there, Bernie Burnster over there with the fucking clap.
We could have had Elizabeth Warren.
No.
Child, I would have been happy. I would have been happy with Jeb Bush.
We could have had.
I hate that bitch.
Oh, see,
shit.
You trying to get in trouble.
Say that.
See, it's always him.
Hold on.
No.
Take that out.
What I'm gonna say is you have to point out the hypocrisy. Just like like I said, the Cubans that got deported after they supported Donald Trump, it's not xenophobia saying, oh look, good for you. No, it's hypocrisy. When you are a immigrant that's undocumented, just because you have money does not mean you can't get deported. So for her to do that, it is something you should call out. Because guess what? A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of her fans didn't know she was an immigrant. A lot of people didn't know that she never voted. Like, I think it's important to point it out. And also, she called him a cocksucker, so fuck her.
All right, moving on. Let's try to get through these.
Is that not homophobic?
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck her. I just didn't think that it was necessary to bring up her immigration status. All right. So another Reddit story. This is about a 50-year-old U.S. citizen who's been dating. This is another queer couple.
We know, Kevin. Anything you find is gay.
Well, there's a 50-year-old U.S. citizen who's been dating a 39-year-old Salvadorian man who came to the U.S. seeking asylum. So he knew that his partner came into the country seeking asylum and that he was undocumented.
Yes.
What he did not know was that his partner stopped reporting. So the partner is now technically without any legal status. He's not currently in any proceedings. And so he is questioning whether or not he should seek to marry his partner or do something to help him, because they've been in a months-long, I think it was like several months-long relationship, and he does love his partner and they've been together for a while, but like during this climate, should he try to help his partner and marry him for status?
In this climate, that's not going to save him. Donald Trump doesn't care if you married an American. He calls he don't even care if the baby, like the kid with cancer that got deported, who was an American citizen, he got deported from Texas last year. I don't think that I would go that route as far as getting married. Like, unless you're willing to like leave with that person if they get deported, the relationship is not going far. Like, is your love that deep? Is it deep enough? Like, we know the couple that they deported themselves,
How
right?
deep is your
In Texas, like they went to Mexico on their own, and they had status. Like, if you're not that in love and committed to your partner, I don't think you should be trying to save them and getting citizenship, because I don't even think it's gonna work at this point. And if they report or getting married, might put them on the radar for deportation. So no. But I want to ask you a question, Kevin.
Yeah.
You dated
Oof.
someone
Oof.
who
Holy fuck.
was an immigrant. Well, wasn't an immigrant. They just weren't a resident or a citizen of the U.S. and they came on a visa.
I did.
You did. And like, did you ever think about that as far as
About
like,
leaving?
No, like if you could like get them deported, like if they didn't want to leave your house or something like that. Like, would you ever call ICE on them? I didn't know there was a hotline for ICE to be like, come pick this.
Oh my God, no, I did not. Ever. But also that was a whole different situation. This person wasn't like here illegally. They were just here visiting on a visa. So that wouldn't have been a thing. That would have been stupid.
But what about marrying for papers?
Did I consider?
Did that come? No. Did it ever come to your mind if that person's intentions was not genuine?
No, that person didn't even care about this, because that person has never come back to this country again.
All right, that's good.
All right, last one. My parents can't accept that my partner is undocumented. So a gay man wrote online about how his parents refused to accept his undocumented boyfriend. His boyfriend is Venezuelan, and apparently his parents have been warning him that his boyfriend is going to pressure him to help him stabilize himself with papers, and they have suspicions about their son being used for status. So should people who date someone who is undocumented automatically assume that other person is like using them for something? Or like,
no.
If you're dating someone who happens to, first of all, would you date someone that's undocumented? And second of all, would you set a boundary with someone that's like, hey, by the way, like, I don't know, like, we're not gonna have an arrangement. Do you know what I mean? Like,
is
that a conversation that people should have with someone that they're dating?
I think it's a conversation to have, because I don't think that it should stop you from dating. But I'm saying, like, if you're gonna take it that next step, you have to take into consideration, like, are you willing to do X, Y, Z for that person if something happened? Like, it would be fucked up to like be in love and engaged, and if the person get deported, you never talk to them again. Like, that would be crazy. So that's why I'm just saying, like, you should have the conversation and be transparent about your intentions, or what you are willing to do and what you're not willing to do. Because you could be in love with somebody, but you can also be like, I'm not leaving, like, my country where my entire family is. Yeah. Like, I'm just not going to do it.
You're dating. So how would you feel if you were talking to someone? This is because I asked
that question.
It is because he asked that question. How would you feel if you were talking to someone? Yeah. Let's say you went on like 3 or 4 dates, and what if you found out on the 4th or 5th date and you really like this person,
Kevin,
and then they tell you,
making a scenario that would never happen,
and then they tell you that you're saying people don't lie? What if this person did not tell you that they were undocumented, and they were like,
if
hey,
I asked and they lied?
Do you ask that on a date if someone's a citizen?
But like, why would that not come up?
Are you an ICE agent?
Why would that not come up?
What
like,
if they
because you come a conversation like, how long you been here? Like, where are you from? Where your family from? That would come up.
Okay.
No?
And what if they did not? What if they omitted the fact that they are in the country without legal status?
I wouldn't hold that against them unless I asked flat out.
So, because we are bringing this up now, is this something you're going to ask people on dates going forward?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I would. I think it would come up.
You love
also.
a Dominican, so you should start asking.
No. I think it would come up. Well, right now as a Puerto Rican. But
see, I wasn't even gonna say that.
But I think when you talk about politics, like if you express your views on ICE, I think it's gonna come up.
Yeah.
Or like if you what is it?
I don't know.
What the fuck I just said?
I have no idea.
If you share your views on politics, period, it's going to come up regardless. Like whether it's an immigrant that supports Trump because they exist, or it's someone who absolutely hates him for being racist or whatever, it's going to come up. I don't think, unless I ask flat out, then I don't think, because it could be anybody. You could be white, black, Latino. It doesn't matter what it is. Anybody could be undocumented.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. We're going to take another quick break and we'll be back
Yes.
with our last segment of the episode, retweet or delete.
And we are back from that quick break and we are here about to read these tweets, baby. Are we going to retweet?
I just want to preface this by saying these are not necessarily from Twitter anymore, but the name rhymes, and so the name stays. Some of these are from Threads, which is my favorite platform.
Yeah. It's just a post. It means a text post.
There's actually no such thing as a tweet anymore. There's no such thing as Twitter.
I still call it Twitter.
I mean,
if I go on Instagram and be like, what is Tom Cruise's Twitter? It comes up.
All right. Anthony, do you want to go first?
Sure. All right. Also, go follow him on Threads. He love a thread, child. I will say this again. If you're not settled, it's perfectly okay to intentionally date people with papers. No allow anybody whine you? What? Did you proofread these? You proofread my posts? Bitch, it says not allow anybody whine you, chase some passport. I think this person's undocumented. So we're going to delete this. What? Kevin, can you read it?
No, I don't
And I love
know.
the fact that he said, Anthony, you go first. Like, I picked this shit. I did not pick this, y'all.
All right. First of all, let's just dig into the context of what this person is saying. This person is saying if you are unsettled, you should find someone who has papers and intentionally date them. It says chase those passport boys and girls. Delete. It's a terrible idea because what's gonna happen to you is what happened to that man in the $4.3 million condo who thought he had his life made, but that white man turned on him on a dime. So no, delete.
But you might not be that lucky. You're not gonna be in a $4.3 million house.
But that's what they think they're gonna find. You end up in the Bronx.
All right, so we deleting that just for the grammar.
All right. And for the context. All right. At Cure for Paranoia said, have we tried asking the Christians why they want immigrants caught more than pedophiles? Have we tried that yet? Retweet or delete?
We have. And then they said the Dow.
So retweet.
Immigrants can't be both lazy and taking all the jobs.
Retweets, y'all.
Absolutely, because ain't nobody picking the fruit, child.
This perspective, this notion from Republicans and like MAGA followers who say that like immigrants need to leave the country because they are apparently just like they're running all of these schemes using Medicaid and like food stamps and stealing all the money because they don't want to work and they're lazy bums who are just living off the government. But they are also taking all your jobs and they're the reason that there's no homes left in America, which is what J.D. Vance says all the time.
And Trump said black jobs.
If we get rid of all the immigrants, there's just going to be a bunch of homes in America.
For us to move into.
By the way, y'all, there are enough vacant units in America for every person in this country to have an extra apartment.
And a good point that a Democratic senator made the other day on TV, I forgot her name, but she said, she was talking to a Fox News host, and she was like, what homes are they taking? Do you know the median price right now in the entire country is $500,000? She said, what immigrant is buying a $500,000 house if they can't work? They're hiding.
Right. It's nonsense.
So retweet.
All right.
Go ahead, Kevin.
All right. Yo Quiero Dinero podcast wrote...
We said we were not reading names.
All right.
But go ahead. I need to follow them now.
If you don't like immigrants, you're not allowed to do yoga, Pilates, or Zumba. I will not explain myself. Retweet or delete.
Retweet? Is it because of the music?
Yeah, also because it was started by Latinos. You also are not allowed to have tacos or beer or chips and queso
Tuesdays?
or salsa or fucking carne asada. You're not allowed to have anything fun.
No more running to the dance floor at the work function for Suavemente?
No.
Oh, damn.
All right, go ahead. Last one.
All right, last one. No one hates immigrants more than an immigrant who gains status.
Retweet. I remember when I worked at a bar.
That's a good one.
In Fort Lauderdale. And this is 2019. I had just moved to Florida. And I remember there was this older Cuban guy who sat at the bar. And I remember it was like quiet. It was like the afternoon. So we would talk a lot. He was there, like he was a regular. And I remember having a conversation with him where like before politics came up, like normal guy.
Yeah, yeah.
normal older gay Latino, like, hey, how are you? Like, where are you from? And then the conversation of Trump comes up, and he's just like, I came from Cuba the right
Legally.
way. I did, and I'm like, bro, are you okay?
Well, are we surprised
And
he's a Cuban?
I'm just like, when people say like, I did it the right way, I'm like, first of all, then it pisses me off even more because that means you know how awful our immigration system is to
Yes.
even do it the right way. There is
Yeah.
the right way can take you 20
So many
years.
years, yeah.
That
Also,
is
how many people who are citizens, parents, didn't come in legally?
Right.
So now is okay
Fuck
to
your
just
mom,
send
too.
them 50 years after being here for 50 years working, paying taxes to deport them now? That
Right.
doesn't make sense. But I'm not surprised that as a Cuban, but it is shameful to see those, not only Latinos, it's all races and ethnicities that did it the right way and saying come back legally. It's like we're seeing that people are being deported that are just regular, non-violent, law-abiding, working people in this country are being deported just because they don't have status.
84% of people who have been detained by ICE in the last year do not have any criminal record.
Not even a driving ticket.
Right.
And also, how about the people that came here with protective status under Biden, who just got ripped off and now they're being sent back? That's not okay.
I will say that thankfully the courts have upheld TPS. There have not been so far, as even though Trump has tried, Venezuelans, Haitian immigrants, Cuban immigrants,
Somalians.
TPS has been upheld so far. All right. Anyway, that is the end of this episode.
First episode.
This was fun. You know, this was nice. Thank you guys for having me. It was lovely. I missed you. And you know what?
We'll be back.
I'm gonna come back next week. We'll be back. We'll be back next week with an all-new episode of BYLATINMEN. Follow us on Instagram at BYLATINMEN. Follow me at Here's Why Kevin. Follow Anthony at Mr. Anthony Polanco.
Cool.
We'll see you here next week. Take care. Love you. Bye.
Bye.